All my longings flows aside. Everlasting bonds surround us as the fleeting years roll by. Unfolding more and more my destiny to reach lasting splendor that the years have brought to me. All the ashes of my glory, oh, the long, long night has passed. Oh, rise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Oh, rise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past.
will give us the wealth and the harvest yield. All hail to Guyana, our country now free. One people, one nation, one destiny. We pledge every effort, we'll cherish this land and make it a paradise. Purpose and vigor, we'll harbor of faith, on whom by distraction, prejudice and hate. Together we'll strive for our new nation's goal, inspired by goodness and kinship of soul. All hail to Guyana, our country now free. One people, one nation, one destiny. We pledge every effort, we'll cherish this land and make it a paradise, land of wonder. From Paparina's steeds of war to Correctives or sons, where children pledge each faithful heart to guard Guyana's lands, to foil the shock of rude invader who violate our earth, to cherish and defend forever the state that gave them birth. We'll forge a nation's mighty soul, construct a nation's fame. Freedom our everlasting goal, courage and truth our aim. Unyielding in our quest for peace, like ancient heroes brave, to strive and never cease, with strength beyond the slave. Guyana, plant of glorious virtue, faith, prosperity, joining the universal search for worldwide community. Your people will surrender greed, they grew our polity, with one for never changing, with all nations unity.
Marching towards the shining future, courage high, the past is gone. Live for coming fear and counting mountain glory, sun and stone. The storm goes dark and blowing, through face like a flash and flame. On the Republic of Guyana, glorify Guyana's name. Forward, forward, youthful nation, rang with power the husband's might. May his strength forever gratitude strive, unceasingly for right. From Guyana's grace consummate, to white star princes they cry. Give thy people, give Guyana, strong, united, loyal, free. My Guyana, My Guyana, my Guyana, Eldorado, rest of all the world away. In my heart wherever I wander, memory enshrineth thee. All my hopes and aspirations, all my longings only tie everlasting bonds around us as the fleeting years roll by. My Guyana, Eldorado, my Guyana, times unfolding and for my destiny, to redeeming lasting splendor for the years that lost to me, and the dawning of my glory, for the long, long night is past. Oh, arise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Oh, arise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Guyana, oh, my lovely native land, more dear to me than all the world I see washed sun is strand. Pour down upon the borders, looking out upon the deep, the great Atlantic flowed into a fury. For a sleep at morn, at noon, or measuring the crimson sunset's glow. I love thee, I love thee, I love thee. Oh, oh, beautiful Guyana, oh, my lovely native land, more dear to me than all the world I see washed sun is round. Pour down upon the borders, pushing out upon the deep, the great Atlantic flowed into a fury. For a sleep, at morn, at noon, or measuring the crimson sunset's glow. I love thee, I love thee, I love thee. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. Together, my comrades, we will build our new Guyana, a country where all have equal opportunity. So let us begin now to show loyalty to Guyana by showing love and respect for all Guyanese. My brothers, my sisters, we will live and die here together. Our motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. For harmonious living, cooperation will be forever. In work and play as we live as strong Guyanese. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free.
Well, it's time we settle all the racials in the interior. Our natural resources are there in great quantity, and we will do farming and establish towns by the border. We'll grow more food so we could fill all Guyanese.
My greatest desire is to serve my country, Guyana, and sincerely help Guyana to move along. Our government asks us that we study hard and we learn the things that will help Guyana to become strong. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. To help develop Guyana the free.
can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
I dance upon the brink of day and try to keep the night away. I stand between the dark and light, and ere the sun dies out of sight, and borrow from his fading rays the splendor of a million day. A rainbow in my hand I hold, vermilion russet orange gold. I strive to light the darkness side. The day I say it shall not die. For who has seen the night so gay? He would not change it for the day. And though I will still even find, I fill the inky sky with light, but countless nights and night must bear, where only one can rule the day.
All right, so you might be wondering where we are. Still in Buxton at Club Twilight. That's where we are. So Club Twilight also has like an Airbnb as well. So you could come, drink, drunk, and come in the back here and lie down. Look at that. Look at that. Perfection. And the people come in the room and so on. The bed sheet matching, the blind matching, the carpet matching, the this matching, the that. We know but we things in Buxton don't play with we. So definitely if you want to come and you may be having a wedding or whatever and you just want to overnight and just have a good time because you're going to be drunk. We got too much road accidents. So you definitely want to come drink, have a good time. They have several rooms that you can rent. You have your toilet, you have your bath, you have your sink, you have your dining area, you have the bed. This is nice. I like it. Anyways, to my friends and my family, if you're looking for me, I'll be overnighting. Also for those persons who are traveling in from overseas, you want a nice, cozy place out of town, then Club Twilight, call them up, look them up on social media. They have their own Facebook page, and ensure that you come up the side and have a good time. Have a good time. Have a good time. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's it.
Born in the land of the mighty Roraima, land of red rivers and far-stretching sea, so like the mountain, the sea, and the river, great, wide, and deep in our lands would we be. Onward, upward, may we ever go, day by day in strength and beauty grow. go. Day by day in strength and beauty grow, till at length we each of us may show what Guyana's sons and daughters can be.
My Guyana del Dorado, best of all the world to me. In my heart, where'er I wander, memories enshrine and me. All my hopes and aspirations, all my longings, woes aside, everlasting bonds surround us as the fleeting years roll by. My Guyana, time's unfolding, more and more my destiny to reach in lasting splendor that the years have brought to me. All the ashes of her glory, oh, the long, long night has passed. Oh, rise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Oh, rise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. speaks of God to correct his lost sons. Her children pledge each faithful heart to guard Guyana's lands, to find the shock of rude invader who violate her, to cherish and defend forever the state that gave them birth. We forge a nation's mighty soul, construct a nation's frame. Freedom our everlasting goal, courage and truth our aim. Unyielding in our trespasses, like ancient heroes brave, to strive and never cease, with strength beyond the slave. Guyana, plant of glorious virtue, faith, prosperity. Join in the universal search for worldwide community. Your people must surrender greed. Make you our holy tale, with one forever changing faith, one nation's unity.
Hey, morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 4 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour. It is the second day of September in the year 2025. Welcome to the program. It's the day after elections. It's the morning after. A lot of people want to know what the results are. And I can give you a reassurance. I'm not GCOM. How you been? How was it yesterday? How was your last night? I can tell you my yesterday was tough. It was a long and arduous day. Started somewhere around 2:30 yesterday morning and ended somewhere around 1 o'clock this morning. So I perhaps did a full 24 hours day on my feet out there working for the democracy of this country, working to get the government, the PPP government changed in this country, working for Guyanese citizens to have a better chance of success. I'm sure many of you were, if not physically, there spiritually with me and others doing that same kind of work. So I can imagine the anxiety. I can understand you want to know what is the results of your work. What are the outputs from your inputs, right? But the reality is GCOM will make that call at some point in time. The party, I can tell you from where I sit, the APNU has not started crunching numbers. It is still information gathering phase because every statement of poll has to be collected and then processed. And so we can get the numbers coming out and the stories coming out of those statement of polls. According to GCOM, they will just collect those statement of polls and throw them up on the website before they start crunching numbers. I believe that in itself is going to lead to its own chaotic situation. Because the untrained mind, if I can call it that, will see statement of polls being thrown up on GCOM website. They will look at numbers and they will form their own opinion. Some people are going to become hysterical. Some people are going to become maybe demented. You know, all kinds of things will happen in people's minds. And many unhealthy things. So I don't want to be the one to be calling any election suggesting win, lose, or draw without the benefit of the facts. But there's some things I can tell you from the election, or from where I stood in the elections. Those of you who are tuned into Mark Bench Cup last evening would know for a fact I call it as a low voter turnout. The turnout was, I want to say, abysmal if you look at the voters list. I had quote unquote supervisory responsibility for a section of polling stations, 13 polling stations in the Monrepo area. Mark last evening called telling people I was going to give them update about Buxton, assuming that I was situated in the Buxton electoral area. Yes, I'm situated in the Buxton electoral area. I've had my responsibilities in the Buxton electoral area. But given the fact that Monrepo turned up in the last election as one of the hotspots, it was decided that we need some strong folks over there. And I don't know who told them that I'm strong, but they decided to send me over there. So I function really and truly over in Monrepo. And I can tell you that looking at the turnout in Monrepo, I was able to say this year, this is an election that has a low turnout, because I know that the Indo-Guyanese community, call it the PPP, is bullish on getting the vote out. And they had a number of stations across the community checking people's ID and sending them to the place of poll and so on, and escorting them to the place of poll and so on and so forth. And when all of that activity was taking place, and you look at the turnout, I recognize that this turnout here is just about 50-something%, less than 60. In many instances, less than 50% for a polling station. So this election, the turnout nationally is going to be very low. And so I started asking myself, who benefits from an election that has a low turnout? Who benefits from an election that has a low turnout? And I'm saying, to remove a government, you need a high turnout, you need big numbers to remove a government. Because as I would say, you're starting from zero. And so if your numbers, if the turnout is low, in my head, I'm saying the PPP might very well still be in government. GCOM will have to make that declaration eventually, who forms the next government. But I'm hearing in my head, the PPP might still be in government. Might, note I say might. Good. Because all the numbers, I only saw what happened at that polling station, those polling stations. And I'll tell you, the PPP won every single polling station in that area, as is expected. As is expected. They always been that area. But the turnout wasn't as magnanimous, if I can call it that, as you saw in the past. So the question again that crossed my mind is, low voter turnout tells me, from my layman point of view, these things. People really fed up with the government. They ain't coming out to support them. The list is really, really bloated, like we have been pointed out. I know for a fact the list is really, really bloated. And people don't believe in this so-called democracy or this so-called democratic process. They don't trust it, they don't believe in it, and so they refuse to participate in it. If that is the case, none of those things are good for Guyana. None. Aye. None of that is good for Guyana. Give me a minute. Hey. Oh, did I request people to okay. Yeah, What about the Oasis today? Because you go, you already you did them. Because you do it. All right, well, perhaps you could collect it and walk it. Oh. All right. I'm gonna talk. You're talking. Yes, folks. You almost in minding my business. Sometimes the business is your own too. So, um, eh. So for those of you who are minding my business, if you heard me talking, and if you understood what I was talking, that for you is basically confirmation too that the party start crunching numbers here. Good. So I was saying, none of the reasons I preferred could be considered a good thing for this country. A really, really bloated list can be good for the country because then you don't get a true sense of what your voting population is. And you can't make decisions based on that as a populace. Likewise, if people don't trust the democratic process or people don't see anything democratic about the process, then that too can be good. And so some lessons I got immediately from looking at the turnout is whoever forms the next government, and government includes both administrative and legislative, government as in government and government as in opposition, must be willing to sit and address how we are going to fix the electoral system in this country, starting with the voters list, so that we can give to our citizens some amount of trust, some guarantee that they're participating in a process that is truly reflective of their desires. Because at the end of the day, when a citizen votes, it is his or her desire that they're exhibiting. And so if I can partake in a system that I know will truly represent quote unquote my ideal, then I might as well don't participate. And so you end up in a country where people don't participate in the quote unquote democratic processes because in their mind, it really it makes sense. I'd say you're gonna at some point in time in my head arrive at a point of anarchy where money run things. The highest bidder will start the show. That's not a society any of us would like to live in. At least I am thinking so. And Jagdio admits that the turnout was low. I saw Kaichonyo's article where he's, as usual, blaming the opposition for a low voter turnout. I really am trying to understand. Oh, he said APNU did not do enough work to to bring out the vote. So again, he is saying, he is intimating that, or my interpretation, forgive my mind, is if the turnout was low because APNU did not do enough work to bring out the voters, then he's saying they did enough work to bring out the voters. And so if they did enough work to bring out the voters and they brought out the voters, if he is satisfied that they brought out the voters, then they should remain in government. But GCOM will make those declarations. The APNU and all the other parties who contested these elections will look at the numbers and see where they're pointing. So we will know if the PPP really brought out the numbers to stay in government. But one of the things you know for a fact is that you have a man as a leader of a political party not willing to accept or take any responsibility for the outcomes of this election. Whether good or bad, say, hey, the low voter turnout is because APNU didn't do enough work. He doesn't see it as the low voter turnout is because people don't trust the system. They don't have any confidence in the system. He doesn't see the low voter turnout as a result of people's frustration, because there were people all around this country, and it's something I warned about, who complained that they went to places where they normally would vote and they couldn't find the name. They had to, even right at Monrepo, I saw it. Thank God the polling places were in close proximity. Thank God for that. People had to be traversing up and down to find where exactly in that small area they were voting. Because the PPP and GCOM gerrymandered the vote. They shifted people around in the hope of bolstering a places where they would win, so that it will suit them. It will give them an advantage over the opposition. But to some extent, in my mind, that backfired, because a lot of people, when they check and they ain't find any way they're accustomed to, must have simply said, I know it. Right? But like I said, what are the lessons going forward? We got passed some legislation that will fix our electoral system. And looking at this abysmal performance of GCOM, we had misunderstanding and ignorance right up to the close of poll and close of counting and everything. We got to throw that out. We have to throw that out. We have to break that down and rebuild it. Look around the world for an example of a system that works and try and implement it here. Good. I see Dexter Shorwin is saying, with all due respect, I don't think you should be talking about elections until the results come out. Fine. You're entitled to that opinion. But I know that there are people who've been looking forward to hear. The first thing I come on here, I see somebody asking what's the results of the election. People want to know what transpired. Like I said, I can't give you the results of the election. First and foremost, ING comes. Secondly, the APNU has not started crunching any numbers. But I can tell you of the lessons learned from yesterday's events. What has the low voter turnout taught me or said to me or indicated to me? But let me make some projection. I see somebody saying Linden voted Win and PPP. If Linden voted Win and PPP, good for them, bad for the APNU. And time will tell, because choices have consequences. But like I said earlier, listening to Jagdio, looking at the low voter turnout, thinking that to get a government out, you would need a higher turnout of voters. I'm assuming that the PPP might still be in government. How does that benefit Linden? How does that benefit Linden? Time will tell. How does that benefit So Vahel Porres is saying basically the same thing. Incumbents in local elections, incumbents with strong name recognition have been shown to benefit from low turnout. So how does that help Linden if they voted Win and they voted PPP? I maintain, after the elections, it's time to build a nation, or we build a nation and work together to get some semblance of a cohesive nation. But I maintain a vote for Win is a vote for the PPP. Because a vote for Win reduces the possibility of removing the PPP from office. And so if there are people across this country who wanted to vote to keep the PPP in office and voted to keep the PPP in office, let's see how that happens. Here is my take going forward. And I know political scientists, but this is my take going forward. Assuming the PPP is still in government, they will definitely be a minority government. Right? Even if the APNU is in government, they too will definitely be a minority government. But I'm because of low voter turnout, and I'm arguing in my head it's likely to benefit the incumbent. This is my position. Assuming they're still in government, I want to see the PPP get no budget to run this minority government. And so from where I'm sitting, the opposition must go to Parliament from day one saying we will not pass the PPP budget. And once we are not passing your budget, we are going to force you to go back to elections, because the next step for me is to call a no confidence motion. Kwame Simon, whoever you are, I don't know who crying. An idiocy like this just aggravates me in the morning. Jackass, it's time to move on with your jackassery. At least from where I sit, I think we are trying to have an intellectual conversation. If the only thing you could do is break, don't come here, man. Go back in your stable and dwell in your shit. Yes. For me, I so don't want the PPP in government because they've misbehaved all the years. They've not lifted the people of this country out of poverty. We must start from the position of not wanting the PPP in government. And so the first thing for me is to reject any budget by the PPP. And secondly, move on no confidence motion. And so within a very short time, within a year at most, we should have this nation go back to general and regional elections. But this time, if you don't pass a budget for the PPP, then they got to push their hand in their own pocket. They got to push their hands in their own pockets. I mean, every other political party will have to push their hands in their own pocket. I know it is going to put the APNU under tremendous stress and strain. I know it will put the APNU under tremendous stress and strain if every political party has to go back to the election quickly in their own pockets by pushing their hand in their own pockets, because the APNU was pushing its hands in its own pocket for these elections, unlike the PPP that was misusing state resources. Right? I see somebody cuss up here, Anthony Small. I know it's who Anthony Small cussing up, but the only person who get right for cussing this program is me, Anthony. I'm going to just delete the comment for now. But don't do it again. Especially if you think a clarity side, know for a fact it's not me you cussing. Right? Don't do it again. Okay? Good. So yes, I am saying that is my mission. That is how I would see it. That is what I think is needed next. Some people say, but where the money going to come from if you pass no budget and you move this no confidence motion? Then the parliament will have to move a special motion of some sort. The likes of Jordan and so on could tell me how this works. But a budget would be passed to just the spending of GCOM for the next election. I don't know if there can be a raft of legislations that would reform GCOM there and then. And so fix the system and send Guyanese back to the vote. And whatever the results of the vote, so be it. Because here what happened? Then Guyanese don't really get to decide in their heads. Because they have seen, they had a prologue perhaps of what the results of their vote will be. If they were to vote the same way they voted in this election, yesterday's election, then they know what the results are likely to be. And let me see that Guyanese won that by sending them back to the polls. Let me see that Guyanese won that. And if this is what they choose, then this is what they choose. So that's my outlook. This nation should not allow the PPP to go back into government, even as a minority. Every effort should be made to remove them, even if we have to go back to an election that is better organized. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but that's my position. Guyana could do better than the PPP. Now is 28 minutes to 8 o'clock. Let me deal with the win factor, because I see a lot of people are saying win, win, win. Lyndon voted for win. Some people even call me and say, Mr. Azam, it look like win can farm the next government. Win can't farm no next government. Win can't farm no next government. Aubrey Austin, you might be disappointed Winston Jordan and Walter Lawrence did not campaign for the APNU. I think Winston Jordan definitely campaigned for the APNU. Winston Jordan has been here saving exec for that short period of time when he fell ill and so on and had to, I would say, take sabbatical. Day in, day out, educating the populace. Education is campaign. And if Aubrey Austin is here, and Aubrey has been following these programs and definitely following Jordan and these programs and saying that Jordan did not campaign, then the question is asked, did I campaign? Did David Hines campaign? Did Mark Benchcap and Norman Brown and Rickford Burke campaign? Because I'm going to come to that too. Right? So I can't say much about Volley. I haven't seen her around much, but Vincent Jordan definitely was campaigning. Might be more subtle than my brazenness, but definitely was campaigning. So don't say that. Lyndon Felix is raising an important and interesting point here. But we'll talk about that. So I was saying let's look at the win factor, because people are saying, I see somebody just said win one Agatash. Right? Once I was finished with my elections work yesterday, well, early this morning, I went straight to bed. I told people I ain't looking at numbers. I ain't even discussing elections because I need a rest. But of course, I'm usually committed to this program. I know people are looking forward to hear my thoughts on the elections. And so that is why I'm here this morning. If a man that has been accused of all kinds of wickedness in this country can form a political party and jostle the two main political parties for space, and in some areas successfully so, it says that this country is morally bankrupt. Guyana moral. Democracy is for sale again. Democracy is for sale again. And so who got money got bargain. And so for me, the fact that Win can be reported as winning Agatash, Win can be reported as getting major votes in Linden, Win can be reported as getting major votes in Linden, Win can be reported as getting votes around the country. I know, I think I saw one polling station in Buxton, was it Buxton? Bladenall. The thing is so corrupted now, you don't even know who voting where. I'll be honest with you. A polling station that was at Bladenall, we got 50 votes. Right? But for a citizen, an individual, a person who's accused of all kinds of misdoings, let me call them that, to be able to form a political movement, political party, whatever he calls it, or whatever we call it, in 4 or 6 months, and attract votes, the likes of what people are talking about in Linden and Agatash, winning areas and so on. It says we have a sick society. We have a very sick society. There is no morality anymore. People don't care how wrong you're wrong, how deviant you're deviant. So long as you have filthy lucre, they're good. So long as you got something to get them, quote unquote, free, they're good. And that's not a good society to live in. That's not a good society to socialize your children in. And so if we are talking about winning, somebody even suggested win might form the next government. We got serious times ahead of us. Because we will have a society that, for want of a better description, is doggy dog. Doggy dog. And that is frightening for me. When a deviant or an alleged deviant in a society could buy enough people to even contemplate winning the government, it says that we are in shit shape. Because if that is the trend, next election it might be whatever his name, the banner Tony Bash. Well, the banner Bash say they buying gold and smuggling gold through Venezuela and so on and so forth. What name? The competitor to Azudin, Mohammed. And next 5 years, the man might decide they're going to spend money and win government too. Or even the Ahmads might decide they're going to spend money and win government too. And when you have quote-unquote cartels competing for your vote, then you're going to end up with, I'll find the right word here, enclaves. I can say enclaves. But like perhaps in Trinidad, you're going to end up with boroughs. I can call it boroughs. What do they call them in Jamaica? Where they got all these dons. Y'all help me there. You're going to find yourself in a society partitioned and controlled by dons. If you want to allow your electoral process to be hijacked by cartels. So I don't know about all of them. Well, Little John is who you're talking to, but it's me telling. It shows that they're thinking. Well, I can take that as a compliment or as an or as an insult, because I would think that I've always been thinking. That is why I'm sitting here doing these programs for the last 5 years or so, and people listening to me. And as far as I see the viewership going, right. So thank you. If it's if you intended it as a compliment, but it can be interpreted as an insult for you to even come here listening to me and thinking that I don't think. Garrison Akwesi, good morning, blessings, my brother. That is where we were living, Garrisons. So there are so many lessons, so many lessons. I mean, people might say there's just an election yesterday that had low voter turnout. For me, these are the lessons coming out of that election that had low voter turnout. And let me say to my fellow candidates and so on in the APNU, I know why y'all knock me on my head because I say, looking at the low voter turnout, the possibility is the PPP might still be in office. I am looking forward to us beating the PPP out of office. But I usually tell people my politics is different from my teachings. If I can actually see my politics is different from my teachings. When I'm teaching, I teach in a comprehensive way so people see all angles of the picture. So y'all don't go say, no, God, we didn't even look at the numbers yet, Mr. Amsterdam. God telling people what it likely. How we going to dispute this thing if we can't a dispute? Y'all don't come to me like that. Understand that I am sitting here, if you want to call me as an analyst, I am looking at all the angles so that my viewers, our people, get an education as what we are dealing with. And so whether which way the results are declared, they understand the thinking behind it, how we perhaps need to move forward, what are the implications, and how to react, if you can call it that. Right? You know, that somebody told Jackson is mentioning that Doggy said when win the election and for the first time he's going to parliament and so on. You know, one of the things that really, really opened my eyes in this election campaign and show gullible our citizens are. And I mean, Amanda Walton did hear declared or commented that the people who follow the PPP are intellectually lazy. When a candidate on the PPP slate can stand on stage and say that if wins the election, the education minister is going to be fatter. And the finance minister is going to be doggy. And all those people standing in front of that idiot believe it and went and ran with it on social media. Y'all don't believe me? Check social media. You will see PPP supporters talking about what we could even consider Fatah as education minister and Dagi as finance minister. And some of those who were on the opposition side who said it bright, allow their name to be used in such ignorance. In the name of campaigning, in the name of winning an election. Well, that is sickening, and it tells where our society is educationally, and that shows the damage that has been done to our citizens with this no child left behind thing. You know? So this society is in a serious state of disrepair. For one set of people to believe that piffle, from one who aspires to lead the citizens of this country, and another set to accept that one who has been accused of all kinds of crimes can dare to lead the country. Well, we're in serious shambles, man. We're in a terrible situation. And so when WPA says, you know, anytime it gets its hand on government, the first thing it will do is declare a state of emergency in education. I think we need it. Regardless of who in government, we need to declare a state of emergency in education. Are we people smart? We ain't bright at all. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. Call and we talk about your takeaways from this election. I've had my say. Somebody asked me to read a comment by somebody. I think I saw it just now. Read what Sheva McCalvin. Sheva McCalvin. Calling on, good morning.
Morning, morning, listeners. You know, there are consequences to your voting, and I hope people are prepared to deal with the consequences. I always say a thing: an uneducated voter is the most dangerous voter. I always say that, and I said a thing to people, and people say, it's not democratic, but it's fine. But I'm going to explain it here this morning, and I said it on this show before. Before people are allowed to be vote, this is my thing, just my thing. Before people are allowed to vote, they should sit a voters' education exam. And if they don't pass, they cannot vote. You know, I wish I had the powers to do such a thing, because it goes back to what I just said and what you said in your closing. The uneducated voter is the most dangerous voter. They will make things in any place go haywire, and they will not even recognize the wrongs that they have done. So people, voting has consequences. Wish you all the best.
Thank you for your call. Yeah, Shavan McCalman says if Guyana does not choose APNU, the EU and the USA will use the leaders' weaknesses, criminality, greed, stupidity, and inexperience to continue to rob Guyana of its resources. And China will continue to buy out Guyana. The people will just get morsels thrown at them while they remain in poverty in oil-rich Guyana. I totally agree with this comment. Because I personally believe one of the things that the US in particular has been using to take out it once from Guyana is the criminality of the PPP. By Jack Dion, the likes of Ali and Nanlal, and all of those who are supposedly on some sanction list that the USA has, most likely are willing to and have been using the resources of this country as a bargaining chip to stay out of jail. This get out of jail card. Just as how many of us are arguing that as you didn't stay out of jail card is to try to get into the government of this country. Because when he is in government, if he ever gets into government of this country again, he is going to do just what the PPP is doing. So I guess he learned from his friends. Use the resources of this country to bargain with the US and the ABC countries to keep yourself out of jail because of your alleged misbehaviors. And some Guyanese citizens can't see that and vote against it just to that, then too bad. Too late shall be the ball. Not even cry ball, because we can ball, we ball out. We can ball, we ball out. Because I'm going to continue pumping, gold going to continue smuggling or extracting. Diamonds, you know, a lot of us talk about gold smuggling. What about diamond smuggling? What about those rare earth minerals that are leaving the shores of this country every single day? And we are not hearing anything about the value of those things that are leaving our country. Why we have a government that is willing to sit back and allow the Chinese, for example, to move the minerals from the pit directly to the ship? I guess they say that they do that in the name of efficiency. They do that in the name of robbing our nation, because then nobody gets to examine what is in that which is being sent on the conveyor belt to the ship. you know, because I said before, the only person who allowed for come and cuss on this program is me. I'm going to block Mazel Ali because I gave warning before. And if Mazel bold enough for come and cuss and so on, and tell people about shut so and so up and so, I'm going to shut you up. Just good riddance, man. Yeah, it's, you know. I know some of y'all be some early morning crass for come and taint people good spirit. Right? So yeah, I agree totally. Because since Azradin is apparently no better than the Jagnews and the Alis and the natural resource thief and agricultural thief and housing thief and all of them, we just exchanging. And the US is going to ring him too, as they ring this country dry. So I totally agree with Ms. McCalman. But they don't mind the PPPs, bigwigs, and the Mohammeds, let me call it for that. Because winning government or winning parliament is the Mohammeds in government or the Mohammeds in parliament. Boys of a fellow flock together. They don't mind using this nation's resources as bargaining chips with ABCE countries as long as they get to do what they desire to do. In the instance of the PPP, they want to rape people, girl, children. They want to build mansions left, right, and center. They they got an obsession with hotels and shiny buildings and shiny cars, and so long as they could do that and go to Dubai and prostitute and so on and so forth, as long as they could do that because they have access to the nation's resources, they're good with that. They don't mind playing along with the US. And even the Chinese, because maybe they can get to launder their money to the Chinese and so on. They don't mind. But it is us, the citizens, who playing with dunce. And we ain't got brain, who at the end of the day will feel the squeeze because the cost of living, we out of control. I'll pumping, you feeling it, etc., etc. Call your life. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, and thank you for your work yesterday. Good morning to all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. This morning, me calling name, the election done. Yesterday, you mentioned something on Mark program when I'm calling for some information, and your touch was two of them, and you touch one of them brains. And when you touch one of them brains, his face got fat and swell because he know that corn was for him. If Jagdio go back there, I'm not blaming Mohammed. Oh no, Mohammed is calling like Jagdio. Koli represent Koli upon Jagdio word. I'm blaming Nigel Hughes, Nigel London, Simona Brooms, and Amanda. Why Flash Garden? Why? Because when ERC bring out that nonsense for sign, who signed with Jagdio? Mohammed. Come on again, Flash. Who more? Ramdatan, Koli, Hapanjat, Vincent Adams, allow, we have the time to go and sign. Why? If you want better for black people in Guyana, it's not because you retire and you're living lovely. You don't care what other black people, children in Guyana. I don't care what damn you could come for Flash Garden. Me don't live my life already. Those names, God in sit well with those names. Because God says suffer the children not to. And when you encourage black people to vote for you and don't come together with one, what you expect to get? When you plant pine, you will receive pine. And pine skin is a rough thing. This morning, I'm going to talk. If it was shameful, don't look at the heart. Look at the policy. Look at it determined. Why they have to do that? And then the one for said, them dragging black people children into pit. Look, them three names I'm going to call to, who represent the word of slave. For Mohammed, Dagi, that same Odessa name, and Fatu. Fatu is the one that get the book that when you vote for Mohammed, when you vote for Mohammed, you become a slave. Yes, I've gone talk it. All those who vote for Mohammed and vote for Dagdio, are you demonstrate what the word mean, our slave, and the word of God, the beast, the mark of the beast, 666, all of them who vote. Even my mother, if she be vote for any one of them, I would have said, Mommy, you become a house slave. Stop it. Repent, turn back. You belong to PNC. You belong for fight for better for all Guyanese, especially black people. Why black people must have to suffer 5 more years? Why this young generation want to live with the word of slave? Why the young generation in ill Jadjo call our black sister in parliament low life twice? They know all of that, they see all of that. And yet still, some of them say, why? And then tomorrow you will say, oh, the opposition leader. The opposition leader. Look one more thing before we go, my friend. I see the father and the mother for our little baby girl who they died, and he get a note to come out and said, vote for the win. Oh God, I've been not the first one go out and comfort you. Give that support. Black people go out and fight for you. Some of them get locked up today, and you sleeping on bed and eating 3 square meal, and you will come out and tell, you will represent that Collie boy because he gave her it's alleged he gave her $5,000 or $6,000 for go to America. Is that what your daughter worth? Is that what black people who stand up with you and fight for you want? Shame and disgrace, my couple black brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for your call. Yes, I know what Flash is talking about, because when Mark called me last night, and I had that brief with him, the last thing I said, let me pelt a let me pelt a big brick at one eye, story done. It is a pity. It is a pity that a lot of the people who came out in the 11th hour to say support the APNU and Aubrey Norton didn't do that from the first second. Because it should have been clear to them from the inception, is the only choice you have. Is the only option you have to remove the PPP from power. And like I keep saying, if it's a flag dress up, embrace your flag until you could do better. But the goal, the aim, the journey was to get the PPP out of office. And so all of them who wait until the 11th hour, when it seemed to them as though they had no alternative, really. They will get an opportunity to sit back and say, because of our egos, we failed to unite our people behind the one cause. Because of our egos, we can't move this country forward at the rate we think it should be moved forward. Because, again, let me explain this particular comment. Even if when the declarations are made, APNU is in power, like I would love to see, we would be a minority government. I got no question about that. Anybody gets declared the winner going to be a minority government. And just as I'm scheming to don't pass any budget for the PPP and move a no confidence motion against them, the PPP is scheming. We have seen them do it in the past, even with a budget. Right? These people get the opportunity to sit back and examine how they contributed to this situation that the nation is in. And really examine it. They say hindsight is 20/20 vision, but the damage is already done, you know. The damage is already done. And so did you hop on the bandwagon in the 11th hour to say, why this thing looked like AP and you got it? And so if they got it, I don't want to be left out in the cold. Let me do just enough to say I did enough. Or like the old lady say, let me just walk with them to the tape to watch them fail. What really were the intentions in these last minutes endorsements? And if we were to do this all over again, will your positions be the same? Listen, like I said, I had the opportunity to see a tidbit here, a tidbit there in terms of results. I don't see forward Guyana for the 2, 3, or 4 results that I saw them featured in. I don't see them outperforming, not even themselves. When I say not even themselves, I don't see forward Guyana outperforming ALP. What's the other one? ALP is Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity. You know, there's Booms. I don't see Booms outperforming Forward Movement, which is a Manza. Who else they about there by? You know, I lose track of them. 6 of them, 6 parties. What is one name? Darwin Best. Where Darwin Best there? Anyhow, all of them, especially through that people consider the major splits of the opposition, which is Booms and Walton this year. I don't see them outperform themselves because they attracted votes between 1 and 0. And they definitely didn't outperform the grouping that they came from. So while they didn't contribute to the strength of the opposition, they definitely diminished the strength of the opposition. Because all of the negatives, all of the negative energies that they had to put out there when they decide that they're going to split, definitely cause people in general, all citizens in this society, to see local politics differently, and that too might have very well contributed to the low voter turnout, because people saying if this guy be so nasty, excuse me, and if this guy be so divisive, I don't want any part in it. So yeah, all you have to sit back and ask yourself, what are your contributions to moving this country forward? Moving forward in Guyana. What are your contributions to forward in Guyana? Has been, oh, I forgot the AFC. A political party that, if it had agreed to humble itself, as I would say, and coalesce with more favorable terms with the APNU, would have been guaranteed a seat at the table. But one which wanted the whole pie apparently will end up with nothing but crumb. Greedy dog does lose the bone. These are things to consider. It is 9 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. I woke up thinking, regardless of how the elections go, we have a country to build. We have a country to save from the no child left behind and the criminality is okay mentality. And so I chose national songs because, at least for some of us, they meant something and they still do mean something.
Best of all the world to me. In my heart, wherever I wander, memories enshrine me. All my hopes and aspirations, all my longings goes aside. Everlasting bonds surround us as the fleeting years roll by. my destiny to reach lasting splendor that the years have brought to me. All the ashes of my glory, oh, the long, long night has passed. Oh, rise, triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Oh, rise, triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past.
Good morning, Patriotic. Good morning. I'm watching the program. I'm very disappointed watching the program the way it's hearing, but I still waiting our results and we hope for the best. But I'm disappointed in people. We people need to be united together, and we need to lead forward. And I don't know what wrong with people that can understand that EPNU would stand a chance to knock out the people. I explain it to all my family and friends. But everybody have a choice. Everybody have a choice. If people is still there, I don't know what wrong. We people need to be forward. And I think if the other national source is still here, like true born of time to this day, I think we people would be more empowered. They would see things for themselves because they would get the law free, they would get this free, they would get things to help themselves. But when I come into school, majority of them are carnal. And to me, majority of the time it is all they make them try to say one change the sources will need them to do something for them, to help them, take them out of poverty, which have been our manifesto. But I don't know around. You people need to be forward, you need to love yourself more, and we need to listen to elderly, take advice from them because they have experience in politics or whatsoever. But we need to love ourselves. And in the love that we have in our heart, by the time we see a little money, they get too much love in their heart. It's not to them to go to waste the own people, but another force. Especially if you put in a little money in front of them. It's like it's a buying a seal thing. You see, we sell as a buying a seal, like a slave. We could buy you, push you, or we could push you for change. All we want. We people don't love us. They want change, but we people is not getting knowledge to understand that if you vote with more chance to knock out the people. Now the vote them the split. They get a minority vote. Oh. We need to get rid of it. And to me, there's more to be done. There's more to be done. And we hope the best everything is good. And it turn out to be.
Good morning, Listening Public. I personally glad the Gambia happen in this election, whether the minority or majority. I heard when Gambia region 10, I don't know if it's true, but if it is so, I have to look into it, my brother. I'm sorry for them. The people of region 10 will ungrateful though. Anyhow, at the same time, I still can't blame the people. And by extension, African Guyanese, because David Grange the cause of all this. If David Grange do what you have to do as a man, if you people them, to the empower solid. But because they fake up, make you see these people then turn out and vote, and those who switch because of the same reason. Anyhow, we still good luck to Abinat and the rest of balance that got come though. Big up to you guys out there.
You know, this comment might come across as unkind, but this is the kind of rhetoric that makes it difficult for us. Very, very difficult. We don't seem to understand that we have to take personal responsibility for our choices. Unless we pass the buck to somebody, we are human, you know. Unless we pass the buck to somebody, we are right, you know. I hear win region 10. If there's a case, y'all look into it. Did I hear that? Huh? Did I hear that? You are looking into it. How you looking, brother? I know this is a brother that's called and tell us he is a millionaire as a young person and all of that. But how you looking, boss? And there's a problem in this country. When, I don't know if it's because we lack education or selfishness or something, we continue to remove ourselves from the equation and make somebody else the subject of the equation. When all of us, each and every one of us, represent a component of the equation. When I was teaching quadratic equations, I think the formula is a plus b minus c equal 0. Forgive me if I don't remember that. I haven't taught mathematics in such a long time. Or a plus b, ax plus bx minus c. I think it's so. Ax plus bx minus c equals 0. There's no quadratic equation unless we got ax, bx, and minus c, plus or minus c. So we continue to remove ourselves from this equation, believing that there's an equation, or that the equation can be solved. That's the thing. It's always y'all. The other day it hurt me so much that I cuss. I don't tell y'all to cuss, and y'all hear a cuss, so I ain't got nothing to hide there. I cuss on a voice note, and I told the person, it's not you cussing, but it's this attitude that continues to say, y'all. It was when they had the accident transporting the military votes, the joint services vote. I got a voice note. This person always messaging me. I hear the PPP plan for do this. What y'all gonna do about it? What y'all gonna? The accident. You see, I didn't worry all the time. The accident was no accident. The accident was orchestrated and thing. If y'all know where y'all gonna feel, all of us gonna feel. If you have information and you have knowledge about what will affect the outcome of the elections, and you can help to contribute to a plan toward that, then do that.
But stop asking people what y'all. If win-win region thin, y'all looking thin. We all looking thin. Some of us look thinner than others. Right. I met an old friend last evening. In one of the polling stations and said, it's who you're representing here. Winner, sir? You're one of them win people though? No, who are you working for? I win. You're one of them win people too? Stop. You notice the question you asked me? Who was I working for? I was doing a job. I was providing a service. But that individual didn't check in his or her mind that if I provide the same service, if I utilize the same time and provide the same service for the APNU, I would have been lending them strength. I can get them a vote. I can get them a vote, but that's all they could get out of me. Right? I can get them a vote. Me family, I always vote in APNU. I can get them a vote. But my labor, I can get win. Win needs your labor to compete against the APNU. So you're working against the grain anyhow. What critical thinking? We ain't got it. Or some people. I look for another voice note. And mind you, I'm not attacking the voice note. I'm attacking the thinking. All right, it didn't look like Guillermo. Right? It's 26 past 8 o'clock hour. The lines remain open. Like some of you are so dejected without even knowing the results that you all in one call. What happened? Let me hear the regulars now. I can't let me talk. Voice note.
Good morning to all CAMS TV and viewers and listeners. This is my take on this election. I would not be blaming Granger. Granger time is over. When Aubrey Norton assumed office as opposition leader, he laid down a structure, an order, and it was not followed by 80% of the parliamentarians. They are supposed to be with the grassroots in their community and make a law and get back to parliament with him, with committee meetings. It was not done. So here we are. Let's not blame Granger. Number two, as I said before, Region 6 was not, no attention was paid to Region 6. New Amsterdam is not quarantined. I remember in 70-something for the referendum, Barnum made 4 stops in quarantine one day. He campaigned Evesham, I think was Firish, 53 and Skellon, one day. And this is where we are because of lack of paying attention to your electorate. And no one is talking about generation X, Y, and Z. They care less. They want what they want now. They don't want to hear promises. You have to, it's a different generation. So it's something to be learned. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Call you live. Good morning.
Morning, good afternoon. Morning to the public. Good morning to the school public. Flash garden, etc. You know, I want to say something on this program. The bulk of the APNU supporters, which means PNC supporters, one face out and the next face in. But, you know, to me, even though I know what angle I vote in, this is not nothing that I expected when I went to see the inauguration at the CYs. And what I see is hope. You know, about here that the song said, look into my still way. See, I see that day. But I always know to interfere. You know, you had a program, you had a interview with a fellow, something I think he named Harry, who said with the fertilizer. He said the man, then he said the man but the Indian gentleman board, he said, man, tell him Mohammed no. No, this is it. I always know to interfere with these people who feel mighty and own this country. The thing is, own it and feel own it. The kind of mindset, the kind of thing Mandela said, but Mali, they feel so strong to say that we weak. I always know to interfere with these people. It need an Indian person. Now what we gotta do is strategize. That you say something. They ain't got a knowledge to understand any weapon. Even if I put it, I got the soul to say like something behind this thing, the energy behind it. Now we gotta strategize and look at what is it that we people individuals gonna get up from the economy. Because I was telling a man, he came about Mohammed is that Mohammed got big business friends. And a lot of them don't know what kind of wealth Mohammed got. And you know, go here see business friends them like that, and you ain't got a kind of care so much about a nation or could carry a nation, and we already know who's in cabinet and etc. But prior to that, to interfere with these people, they feel mighty, and you know, I use a thought part slow. They get pain in the skin because they're looking at the next side, but they interfere with them. It's hard to get one like you, but we know. Forward Guyana, Kodaki. Well, we name it do you work, Dr. Hines and do you work. But he's a big man now. It needs me and you. We now gotta look and keep people to the pedal. But whoever take a tumble these people will feel the whole this place and taking advantage of these people you see on the market. Enough is be enough. God is raised up people. For me, this is a new opinion, and I don't care what nobody says. You point out one of them living everywhere in Pampas. And the next one, you know, when I went to Ali funeral and I see the president looking at in hand, with the card in hand, you know, I asked myself, if they know that this thing could swing to them. But you know, send some card in. They're the people that fail the people and the shit we're going to do. And tell the people nothing and just tongue tools for whatever reason come out the same. No. These people here is hope. So don't let me bash them. This is a slave thing to pedal down and just let me take it right. And we gotta really strategize in terms of the way forward. But it's hard to go like this without letting blood shedding. Had to go like this and interfere with these people because these people had the thing well cut out and they cut out with people behind for sheer more licks, like how they do it with Guyana, like how they use the screens as French fries, throw them in the lockup and scare the ones that would have screamed the brighter than me, more brighter than this one, scare them out the street. They had another strategy like this, but they know they had trouble with this little coolie bag. So they say in the face and they say in the face. I don't want to be penalized with people too much, man. Let me just strategize. So, let me get another call up. I shot and tell you look at the results. The India, they got to take it. Thank you. Don't lose people what you say.
Wrong, man. Again, this is a call I disagree with. I disagree with two calls. This is my disagreement morning. Well, you know, I are accustomed to disagreeing with people, and I don't care what the outcome is. Right. I call it as I see it. We needed Azudin to interfere with the PPP. We needed unity to interfere with the PPP. We interfered with the PPP before Azudin. The AP and AFC removed the PPP from government without Azudin. As a matter of fact, Ashwin was on the side of the PPP when the AP and UFC removed them. Why do we think we always gotta get somebody external to us as a savior? That's low self-esteem. I ain't suffering from that. The other thing is, over to you. That's the name I think you're calling the guy. Who just called it. At least I recognize the voice to be similar to his. Over to you, Wayne Caesar or something. Anyhow, but whoever that caller was, spoke of Bonner campaigning in 4 areas in Region 5, I think, in one day. And intimating, if he didn't say it clearly, I think he said that the APNU neglected its people in that area by not campaigning or doing enough campaigning in that area. I tell you, husband. Anybody who will look me in the eyes and tell me that there wasn't enough information out there for voters to make their decision to support the APNU, I will label them as dishonest. I will label them as not knowing what they're talking about. I said to some of my colleagues when we were doing those street corner meetings, don't let the size of the crowd on these street corners influence you. When they're big, they're bigger on social media. When they're small, they're still big on social media. I haven't done any research on the density of the population that has access to social media. But I can tell you, in my mind, and for what I've seen, more than 75% of this nation, or more than 75% of this nation's electorate, has access to social media, and they're present on social media. And so if they're going to tell me that they don't know what the APNU had or has offering to this nation, and they don't have enough information to support the APNU, I will say that they're dishonest, or maybe they're downright stupid. I will say if our electorate, if our supporters, if the citizens of this country cannot understand that let me call it presence in communities of the PPPCs because they got access to the nation's resources. Can you imagine a political party putting 2 and 3 flags on every single post in a community? The call for real bread. But what does a flag on every single post in a community do for you? As against another political party saying to you via social media, for example, we got a free plot of land for every 18-year-old. Y'all let me understand. Make it make sense. The people in New Amsterdam had access to information because it's on social media. The APNU has dedicated an entire website, if I remember. An entire Facebook page, if I remember. For you to access their manifesto. For you to access speeches, policy statements by the leaders and others. So we are telling me, APNU failed to go in New Amsterdam. Again, what is the human resource that was available to the APNU? And what is the financial resource that was available to the APNU? How many have come forward to say, let me help to spread this word in these communities that the APNU seem not to be sending people? How many are? Or how many of those who criticizing the APNU, y'all ain't going this corner, y'all ain't going the nook, and y'all ain't going this cranny? Campaigners, movers, and shakers, campaigners, movers, and shakers couldn't be in every neck of the woods. They had to focus on places where they think that there was much work to be done. And even while they were focusing on those places where they think much work had to be done, they were broadcasting the very information to all corners of this world, not even all corners of the country. So when people keep coming and saying this and saying this, yeah, give me a freaking chance, man. And y'all know I don't back down from telling you the truth. I call it as it is. All the people who just getting the feelings when they can't get to call into this program and dominate it, or they can't get through with a line and so on. And I ain't listening to Kedaki no more. And I ain't saying nothing on Kedaki no more. And I ain't going to cover Kedaki program. Y'all take the same energy. Did y'all take the same energy and go into places like New Amsterdam and talk with them? And if y'all believe these programs don't get the message to people, why y'all just invest the energy to make the calls and give out the kind of information and engage in the kind of discourses? So don't let we say nothing about people and get information and people in this and people. It is right there. Everybody else choose what they want to hear and everybody else choose what they want to do. If in an election period, you choose to listen to Vibes Cartel instead of a political broadcast, that is on you, not on me. If as a family, especially the head of the family chooses to sit with his children and other family members and watch the Price is Right instead of watching the rally that Harvey Norton is going to make a policy statement that, that's on you, not on me. I don't know. If you as an individual socialize yourself, or you allow yourself to be socialized to believe that you can only hear the message through a big boom boom box, and so you're going to a political meeting that is on your street corner because it is using loud hailers, that is on you, not on me. I remember I tell you all the night we had a meeting over at Annandale. And a young lady passing and talking about your party cheap. Oh, your parties are cheap. Oh, your parties are cheap. Big old house, big old backs people. They got meeting at the corner of the street and they'll pass and ask, we are giving away. You get money for giving away? Kiss me neck. Grass. Kiss me neck. You ain't do nothing with your life. You ain't intend doing nothing with your life. That's all hard backfrog like you got to pass and ask people trying to promote policies that will take you out of policy And you got money for give away? Is the only thing you could think about, idiot? You got a political campaign in a community as black as you. And the people you trying to educate turn on the boom boom in the vehicle and drive through your meeting. Hearing them coming from a mile and they know they got a meeting up the road and they got a common decency to turn off or turn on the music. And you're telling people but enough work wasn't done in communities? Y'all go to hell. And however you take it, doesn't matter for you. When you react, I know you get a message. Blah, 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 blah. So you can't say that. But I tell you, but you want me vote? Me asking you for your vote is because I want to do something for you. It's going to benefit me too, but there is reciprocity. But you just see me why you vote. And so because I want you vote, you could abuse me. You could disrespect me. But when you give me your vote and the outcome is suit you, you blaming me. How in hell? Listen, y'all mustn't start me up. Call you on. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Now, yesterday, I worked at the poll station as a polling agent because of my what I used to do at GCOM. And when I got to the poll station, I was happy to see in the voting compartment that everybody could have seen how the people were voting. Was the notice that you must not vote with your cell phone. Can't vote with no recording device. And at least we got something. Don't mind, we didn't get everything. And for the people out there who are got a lot of talks, I don't know if the election has been called, if they're getting all the counts and so on. But you know, people shouldn't blame anybody. They should blame themselves. Because if you know that you went to the poll station after seeing all that goes on and was going on in Guyana, and you voted against your conscience, don't blame anybody. Blame yourself. About a year ago, America went to the polls and America put in Trump. And they now live to see what they did with the votes of the last election. And y'all gotta know that if y'all put in anybody other than Norton, APNU, what will be the rundown of Guyana? Because people are claiming that these sanctions that are in the air are just talk. But if America decides to hold to the truth, they look to see that 19 fraud charges was president and nothing didn't happen. 19 fraud charges was not being sanctioned by America. So people don't understand. And a lot of people never sat down to study the real problems of being sanctioned. And because they didn't look to understand what it is to be sanctioned, they didn't ask about countries like Cuba, who was being sanctioned by America all those years ago. They didn't look to see what happened in neighbor Venezuela with sanctions. And if they could have closed their eyes and did what they have done, and should America decide to say, we're going to sanction this country, I hope they could live with whatsoever they bring on themselves. Whatsoever they do. You look and you see the thing. The man father sat and spoke openly in Ramadan. When the PPP had one gun at Freedom House, he carried two guns. Later down the line, this man Lal, what was fighting for people get oil money. He also had a gun. Look how many black people get murdered by guns from Freedom House. Donna McKinnon was one, but get murdered. We know that for sure. But get murdered from guns at Freedom House. Who to tell which one of the guns killed the woman? When y'all look to see what happening to young people being picked off and murdered, and y'all gonna still do what y'all do? I hope it isn't what it seems to be like. Because up to now, I have not heard anything to know who win this election. It's just predictions. You ain't hearing nothing. Let us see what is going on. But whatever it is, Guyana is now at the cross point, and whatever this elections reveal, we will have to live by it. We will have to live by it. Lastly, when I went to my place to cast my ballot, they took my ID card, and the person in the thing started to ask me for my phone. Put your phone there, put your phone there. Now, I was the person who made certain no phones could have been allowed in the polling station, the poll booth. I didn't work with my phone, but I want people to know I have had a problem with my phones, and I will not, on no account, give my phone to anybody because I had a phone. I was speaking in my house. I didn't put it into cyber world. And the next thing you know, I ended up looking down at a $500,000 fine. And for you folks out there, don't ever ask me to give you my phones. I will not. My phone is my phone. I had to go through red tape. People on this program, when they heard what happened, had to pull from their resources to give me a phone. And I cannot always do stupidness with my phone. And then people take it, and next thing you know, it's problem. And I got to come back crying and begging for another phone. So please do not ask me for my phones. I will not give my phone to anybody. Thanks and bye-bye.
Thank you for your call, Ron. I see somebody. I like respond. Like play tit for tat display. One of them that adopt a name. One of Labums. One of Labums said, please explain why so many black people support. No, not right now. Not right now. But some of them that adopt a name, whatever it is. Oh, yeah, one of Labums. To tell you the truth, people get fed up with people like you who preach racism, so they vote for others. To tell you the truth, Ronald, if you think I preach racism, I will continue to do it with pride. I will continue to do it with pride. Because my teachings of racism, according to you, Ronald, is a teaching to empower my people. My teaching of racism is to instill pride in my people so they're going to understand that nothing like Ananalal could tell them be a proud house slave or should tell them be a proud house slave. Call your life. One day. All right, we're going to take it this side. Call you on. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Karaki.
Good morning to you.
All is not lost.
But I didn't say anything is lost.
I like how no, to the viewing audience, to the listening audience. I like how you keep the fire up this morning. Because I noticed a lot of people got silent from the government camp. Like our very proud of slaves brothers and sisters, they're now very silent anyway. My 2 cents this morning is this. You see we people, Brother Kadaki, you see we people, we have only ourselves to blame. You see the split talk who come up for the last moment? It had a lot of people confused, you know. A lot of people want to know, what for do? Who forget this thing too? Because if these are the elders and these are the people we were supposed to look up to, and they talking about split. And then at the end of the split, the results that we got now, I see some people jumping and hollering, they say don't spread the vote, but look, the people spread the vote when they win. Anyway, and this is the laughing and say it's a win for them. But I want for them to know who laugh last is laugh the best. Because the talk of a split and when one thing got 60%, this one she got the favorites and all the people that behind shade, the women and this and that. And I see the guy, I want to know what I've been seeing in the readout of the from GCOM. They're not going to parliament, none of them. None of them. So those people got to say, who laugh, just laugh the best. And the race is not for the swift. It's who endure it. And I know the kind of candidates that the APN you put up for this election, the end for a long race with them, it's an over yet. It's an over yet. It's an over yet. God said so. It ain't over yet for the APNU. There's the message I want to send this man. It's an over yet. We're going to rumble and tumble still. Good brother for that.
Thank you, caller. Caller on, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Kadaki. Thank you for taking my call. So I returned to Toronto last night, right? After flying in 2 days before to cast my vote. Because I was en route, I wasn't able to listen to any commentary or anything. So this morning, your program is the first time that I have the opportunity to, get a little feedback about what's happening. I don't know, obviously what the outcome is going to be, but I will say this much, right? The work that you've done, Dr. Heinz has done, and I think APNU has done. I don't know what else anyone wants. I think there were they were in a lot of areas. I think the information about their policies was out there. I'm sitting in Toronto and I can reel off all of the policies. If, as it pertains to be, the black Guyanese turnout was low, and if some of us that did vote decided to go to win, it would be a sad day. If anyone but APNU ends up in government, I really do think that this will be the end of Guyana. And I know it may sound dramatic, but I've got to tell you, it's heartbreaking, right? It's really heartbreaking. I'm trying to be positive. Hopefully, all is not lost, but it's not for lack of trying. I think you guys did a fantastic job. And at the end of the day, if, as a lot of callers and people in the comments are saying, if young people in Guyana are so devoid of values, right, like hard work and self-sufficiency and independence and all of those things that Forbes Burnham preached, then it is what it is, right? Unfortunately, a lot of other people will pay for the decisions of others. But you know what? Hopefully, thank you as always for the very succinct analysis, and let's see what happens. Thanks for taking my call. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for your call. It's 9 o'clock. 2 minutes to 9. Let me see if I got a voice note. Call you live. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. First of all, I want to tell you, I encountered you yesterday morning at Monrepose by the whole health center. But I was in the light of both, then I disappeared. I wish I could have chit chat with you. Anyway, Mr. Amsterdam, election has not been called as yet. And in my opinion, if the APNU, it all depends, right? If the if a poor showing, I would blame it on Melly Mel. I don't know how you're gonna respond to that. But I saw you yesterday.
Wouldn't you also blame it on yourself? You've been calling every day to defend the PPP and the nonsense.
No, I voted for the PPP. I voted for the PPP.
Good. So why you again are saying we don't want to take responsibility for our actions? We always want to blame somebody. You pointing out Melly Mel as who you can blame it on, but you contribute to the morass.
You see, Mr. Amsterdam, you don't want to listen to the truth, and that's why you're gonna never learn. Tell you.
The truth is that some of you are got your head so stuck so far up your anterior that
That's all you could. That's what you got to do. I mean, views out.
You know.
Come on, that's what you know to do best. Views out.
Why do you call my program if you think the only thing I can do is views out? Why do you even listen?
At work.
Well, listen. Enjoy your day. Thank you for your comments. I would have liked to meet you in person so I could shake your hand and say you're a human being. Good.
It was just about after 6 o'clock you were here, right?
Well, yes.
Yeah, I was voting the same, but then you disappeared. I don't know where you went.
Okay, good. Good, buddy. I got voice notes.
Good morning again, Kadak. We people lack of knowledge. We people lack of knowledge. We lack of knowledge. Ibn Anlal could call us and disrespect our ancestors and return and say he was a proud house slave. What more? It's like we acting like we's a house slave. It's like we taking the trend and we putting it together and behaving like
okay,
it's a slave.
All the line. Okay.
We want betterment for ourselves. We got to vote for ourselves. But I don't understand. But I could say,
tell me when you're ready.
Knowledge. I don't understand.
Kadaki, you there?
And all these things these people is doing, the PPP is doing. And they can empower their own self, empower your own people. Sometimes Mr. Arbor Norton is the best left to bring this country forward and put it another level. So I don't understand. Sometimes you're putting out the best. We stifling the best for bring the worst. Sometimes God keep Arbor Norton for a reason for this moment to make black people better, make the people in the country better. And then we can disappoint him. We people lack of knowledge.
Kadaki, there's a couple of things about this election here. I mean, there's no blame to throw around because if there's anybody to blame, it's to blame ourselves as human beings. But human beings are very interesting people. The APNU, they had a good platform, they had a good message. But what I think is that personality plays a big part. You have the Fatas, you have the Doggies, you have the Mohammeds. These people are just people with personality that, people just gravitate to words. And even if you have the right message, I think that the PPP, the PNC, or the APNU, they had a good message. But I think the messengers, they were not proper fit to deliver that message. So what happened? People run to the people with the personality. That's all.
Thank you. Well, let me say this to you, Carla. Thank you for your contribution. And it just strengthens my point. That we got a serious education problem in this society. Because if people are listening to Anil and believe that Fatah going to be an education minister and Dagi going to be finance minister, and this scholar is saying that the people who influence the vote, my interpretation is the Doggies and the Fathers of this world, then we got a serious problem in this society. People like me who consider ourselves educated and got something to offer in this society, we are endangered. Because we have to be the enemy and we will be seen as the enemy. We got to be. We are ill fit to deliver the policy message, etc. of the APNU, for example, because the society is prepared to listen to the fathers and the doggies of this world. I ain't got a problem with the fathers and doggies. Personality, you like personality, but there got to be a moment where you're going to sit back and say, put the laughter aside. Put the gimmicks aside. This is serious business. And if we can't make that differentiation, listen, we're in serious problem. And we're going to stay in serious problem until we fix this education deficit. You think the PPP in power got interest in fixing any education deficit? I doubt it, because I know they're going to get more, according to an earlier caller, uneducated voters, and that is what will benefit them. Voice note.
Good morning, Kadaki, and good morning to all the listeners. Great fight, my brother, great fight. But you know, I wanna give a parable like Jesus, like Christ did. My parable says that the game ain't done till the last ball bowl. The game ain't done till the last ball bowl. And I might go beyond this election, you know. I mean, time is the greatest winner, you know, time. And I'm back to the word of God. He said, he that is joined to the living have hope. King Solomon says so in Ecclesiastes 4. Ecclesiastes 9:4. He said, he that is joined to the living have hope. And then he went on to say, a living dog is better than a dead lion. So people, take it how you want to take it, you know. Take it how you want to take it. I have hope. You know, when we do our best and God pleased with what we do, then God gonna do He rest. And so if He got to, you know, shuffle things up and set things up in a way and open the eyes of the blind and their hearts, that is what got to happen, you know. So I have hope. I have hope. All right. We did our best, you know. And if it happen that we gotta do it again, we're gonna do it be better. All right. Because we always give 100%. Have a nice day, man. Keep it up, my brother. You're strong.
Thank you. Thank you for that call. You know, my eyes got a little wet there just now. But yeah, when I talk about commitment, right? When I talk about commitment, caller, hold the line, mute your microphone, please, or I will disconnect you right now. Follow the instruction. Let me see. You're not muted yet. I'm going to disconnect you. Caller, hold the line, mute your microphone, please. Thank you. Good. When I talk about commitment, this last voice note, for all the hours I spent outside at Monrepo, was there with me. He doesn't live in Guyana. He doesn't work in Guyana. He's Guyanese. He came home to put his shoulder to the wheel. Fortunately, it looked like I had two of them. Right? Two persons who live in the diaspora were there with me yesterday. Up and down. Chicken tin. Trials and temptation. They've been right there. This voice note is one of them. So when you hear me say Australian, you know what we're talking about. Came home, he cast his vote very early. And then he took public transportation and he came to Monrepo to meet me and let me do the work. There's commitment. I see other people in committed. There's some people who couldn't come that made financial contributions, etc. It all came together for good. Right? It all came together for good. People talking, like I say, our biggest problem, we don't want to take responsibility for our actions, we want to blame everybody else. Those very influencers who got personality, according to the caller, they ain't got a brain to recognize that using their influence for the PPP, for example, for WIN, for example, is going to keep this society right where it is and even put it in worse trouble. Even those educated suit and tie influencers who criticizing and beating down since day one on Arbinarni and the APNU, they didn't recognize that it will have its own impact when it comes to election day. No, I see somebody say you're talking as if y'all don't know the result and APNU lose. And no, I said it from the inception and I'm repeating it. This is me discussing lessons learned from yesterday's election. This is not me declaring results because APNU has not started crunching the numbers. GCOM has not declared any numbers. And ultimately, is GCOM going to call the election? Right? But do I sit and wait for that to happen? Or do I sit, as I usually do on these mornings, to continue the process of education through an analysis of things learned from yesterday's thing? Big up yourself, Hazel Marshall. I call in Hazel Marshall name. Because Hazel Marshall told me last night when I tell she I'm going to sleep late tomorrow, me keeping no program. She said, no, my brother, you can't do that. We're looking forward to hearing from you. You got to continue the teachings. This is not about today alone or tomorrow alone. So Hazel Marshall, your argument, when I tell you I'm going to sleep on it. So here I am. Call you on. Good morning. You can unmute and talk.
Good morning, Barakadaki. Good morning to all the viewers and listeners. First of all, of course, I would like to echo what you just said in regards to the declaration. As far as I know, there's no formal declaration. No one knows who won or who lost. So the listening public should know that. I would like to congratulate the APNU coalition for the work that they have done during these elections. I think that you're putting in a lot of powerful work, really, really good work. Especially these social media outlets. You had an information campaign. Could you hear me? Yes. I must congratulate you guys again on your information campaign that you had on this, because those were like rallies like every day, rallies and meetings every day. So you guys in the social media networks, you did a good job as well. I don't think blame should be thrown around. I mean, people know the persons. They know themselves who slack up in this situation. Again, there's no results yet, but the person know themselves who should have done what and who did not do what. But there's an old saying: when you don't hear, you just feel. So God forbid now the PPP get back into power. Plenty of them would it not hear all the callings on these social media networks, and all the meetings and all the encouragement for the friends and families and so on. They will feel, and I think they will feel in the short term as well, because the PPP is going to continue in a hurry, because even if they win, they're going to be in a minority government, and they're going to try to do what they have to do for themselves, because they know to themselves what is potentially coming for them. So the people, especially I'm gonna put names now, especially the Gen Zs, right? They've been learned, they've been taught during the time to glorify. They were taught by the PP government, especially by Jagnew, to glorify corruption, glorify get rich fast, and all these kind of things. So they would look at somebody like Mohammed and others and this PP party, who might be promising some of them contracts or whatever, and that's what they glorifying. And many of them did not turn out to vote. This is the fact now. Many of them did not turn out because it has shown that there's a low voter turnout. Many of them did not turn out to vote because of different reasons. Of course I know the young people, they're notoriously unreliable voters. They don't register, they wake up late and that kind of thing. So that was expected from them. But again, the election is not official yet. When it's official, then we will know exactly what's going on, and then we're going to see all the degree pokery with the people is going to try to do they're doing right now, and they will continue to do. I still have the confidence. I'm still optimistic for the APNU coalition, and I will remain optimistic. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your call. That was the final call. I will not be taking any other calls, but I think I have a couple of voice notes. Let me see if I'm right. Yes, we have 2 voice notes we will play.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and a happy Tuesday morning. Young Guyanese, I don't know what's going on in this place. Apnu really had a good message. Benefit everybody, the young, the old, the in between, everybody. But it seems that most young people and some of the not so young, they go now for personality and the money. Apnu was a disadvantage. They didn't have money to share and give nobody. Share and give nobody. The win party, they had the money belong people and PPP taxpayers' money. So, it won't remain like this all the time. There will be a way out. Guyana in a bad shape. But you don't give up. You don't give up.
So I see some smart Alex saying, anyhow, I say I got 2 voice notes to play them and play them. Final one.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning to all viewers and listeners the day after. I'm having a problem with this hype that people calling in, everybody, most of the people calling in on this program this morning, this talking about the win party. And it's, in my opinion, hyping up the win party. The last ball and ball yet. But you're hyping up, even to you, Kadaki, you're talking too much about this win party. You're talking about your own party. as much as you're talking about this win party. Why? Because the win people to put out these SOPs or whatever you call it, these documents out on social media, where they showing the pick and choose the ones that they want to show the public, but those that they're taking blows in, those that the last in, they're not publishing it for people to see. But y'all just hyping up this party, and I don't like it. It's not good. You shouldn't even be talking about election today until these results come true. Straight up, bro. Straight up. But you gotta stop this thing, man. I'll laugh for that.
You know, sometimes some people really disappoint me. I tell you truthfully. With the comment and the outlook. When the Americans got elections, they just analyze it from a month ago to maybe a year after. What gives you the impression I shouldn't or I don't have the right to talk about an election we had yesterday? I mean, yeah, it's your right to think so. But why do you think I should shy away from discussing an election that we had yesterday? And it's obvious you joined the program not from the beginning, because according to you, I haven't been speaking about my party. This program had segments of discourses. I talk about the possibility of the PPP being in government. I talk about the possibility of the APNU being in government. I talk about the possibility of the APNU and opposition parliamentarians, if the PPP were to be in government, moving a no confidence against them, refusing to pass the budget. I talk about the flip side of the coin, if the APNU is in office. The same thing that I'm dreaming of doing to the PPP can be done to the APNU. I spoke about all of that. Where were you, man? On a rock? Were you on a rock? Or you just want to come and show you have an opinion? Y'all talk to me. You have to be realistic. Why you think you gotta wait for GCOM to declare an election before you can discuss lessons learned? And I kept repeating that. I ain't discussing election results. I am discussing lessons learned from the low voter turnout, or the election with the low voter turnout. I'm talking about issues, what's the word, concomitant to this election. So what we should do, man? Stop living, stop thinking, and sit back and wait till GCOM take another month or two or a year possible to give us an election result? Come on, man. These things aggravate me. I ain't gonna aggravate me, I'm not gonna get you a pass. Because then I ain't contributing to your education. I had a feel-good moment yesterday because I went into one of the polling places to relieve one of my agents for to go and vote, I think. And I sat next to a student, I thought, at the IPE. And she recognized me. She heard my name, she saw my face, she said, Mr. Amsterdam, you used to teach at IPE? I said, yeah. She said, you teach me. And for all those of you who believe I'm such a hater and such a racist, she's an Indo-Guyanese. And she didn't have one bad word or reaction for me. Because she knows. She experienced my love and understanding as her teacher. So why I'll take that to the bank and bank it. So be careful. And when I look at one of the voters and I question how he look, and so on, because she's from the general community. She said, "You, Mr. Amsterdam, you always think, I see what get them look, so see what are wrong." So, you know, that was a feel-good moment for me. There's still got human relations in this world, regardless of how we see it. And like I tell our usual morning clown, if I'd seen him in person, I would have greeted him just like any other human being. We might have had a laugh too, right? But I'll have a good day. Hold the faith. I am still positive that with the work that the APAU put in, we can form the government, albeit a minority government. I still have concluded that regardless of who formed the government, it's going to be a minority government. I still am concluding that we got some serious education deficiencies in this country. And if our adults can't lead in fixing it, then we must be doomed in the next couple of years, because foreigners are going to come and take all the positions that mean something and all the money, and we will be left with cleaning gutters. Like somebody said to me yesterday, I wonder if all of them who get in contract to build a concrete road realize that is once in so many years you're going to build a concrete road. And after that, the only thing going to be left for you to do is cut bush, clean drain, and pick up garbage. Yeah, don't look for empowerment. Don't look for a way out of poverty, a sustainable way out of poverty. Continue believing that a handout here or a handout there, a fixed price contract here or a fixed price contract there, is the answer to your problems. Me, as far as I'm concerned, I tell you all on this program already, I have no fear, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't live my life. I'm dead already. I mean, people don't like to hear me say that, but all I'm saying is that I think that I've done enough for my society. I've done enough for my people. I've done enough for my children. I still would love to be there with them longer, that I can do more or even be there to guide them. But the reality is, I'm at a point in my life where, quite frankly, I don't care where the friggin' chips fall, because I can survive it. And when the time reaches for me not to survive it, then the masters will be done. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all. Tough love is also love.